So I'm going to quickly process this raw file of Sarah. But essentially what I'm going to be showing you today is the clone stamp tool. Now this is an incredibly powerful tool and I use it a lot for my retouching. Obviously you will have seen people use it as I'm about to now. I'm just going to click through my blending mode options for it. Make sure it's on normal. I'm going to select the eye by holding my finger down on it. I'm going to make my brush a little bigger. And I'm just going to draw away from the eye. So you can see the tool is actually cloning the source that I've just selected. I can literally, again, make another selection of Sarah's lips there and clone that onto another part of the image. So you can have a lot of fun with this. I mean, if I wanted to, not only can you clone something in, you can clone something out. Just gonna, just brush here. We've brought in more of a face. Have multiple Sarahs. Who does not want to have multiple Sarahs? Me, because I actually have a sister called Sarah. Oh my God. She will kill me with that comment. But what we can do is we can take another section of Sarah's face here and remove her lips. Maybe her nose, maybe her eyes. This actually helps quite a bit for not only the higher end retouching, but also for conceptual work too. Now, so just a quick reset of the image. And I'm going to duplicate the layer because I don't want to be working on my background layer. Just a good habit to get into if you ever need to get any information from the background layer again. I'm going to go back to the clone brush. And I'm just going to zoom in. Now I'm going to hold down on the screen with my finger to define a point I want to copy from. But before that, I'm just going to change the blend mode on the clone brush tool to darken. So now, as you'll see when I go towards Sarah's eye here, I'm going to select close enough to that white spot, an area I think would fit in quite nicely there, and I'm just going to gently brush over it. Because I'm using the darken mode, it will darken anything lighter. When it comes to using the lighten mode, it will lighten anything darker, and it doesn't really affect anything else outside of those. So it's a great tool for just cleaning up blemishes and, just any little marks that you would normally remove when retouching. Sarah's skin is pretty much perfection. The problem we've got with using digital cameras is they're not very forgiving at all. Compared to using, film. Nice roll of 120 film. Oh my gosh, I need to shoot film soon. There's always like this softness and it always just looks amazing. Whereas digital brings up flaws you never even knew existed. Literally though, I'm zoomed in on Sarah's skin here and this is unreal. Absolutely unreal. So I'm just using the clone stamp and I'm just working my way around the image. Bit too much there. But playing around with the opacity of the actual brush, so I can gradually brush it in, not just come in heavy-handed and making marks like I did before. Pressure sensitivity works so well with this. But I'm just going to come in, clean up. A lot of people might be using some of the other variations for cleaning up. There's no right or wrong way. I like this one because I'm not removing any texture in the image and I'm not getting these little blobs or blotches where I've removed information from. So this works extremely well for how I post-process. And to be honest, when it comes to retouching, this is where I spend most of my time. Just coming in, clicking and clicking. It's very therapeutic actually. But it can take quite a while. The dodging and burning side does not take anywhere near as long as this. So I'm just getting rid of some of these little blemishes. Not even blemishes, like these tiny little marks just around the nose, just to clean it up a little bit. But seriously, man, Sarah, how perfect is your skin? I should have chosen like a different image for this tutorial because it just made my job way too easy for this. But obviously, like, retouching isn't just cleaning up those blemishes. When you look at a person's skin, there are so many colours, tones, hues, everything and makeup. The face that you see, you can see in this image, we've got reds, we've got blues, we've got a bit of greens, kind of yellow. When we zoom out, there is just so many tones that just make things a little bit more complicated. And some of the reds you see here, especially around this nose, when it comes to the next step of this retouching series, we'll go in how to reduce that redness, how to counteract it, and yeah, just make the whole image more neutral. And even though I hate using this term, give it a more high-end look. But I'm just going to come into the lips here and still using the same technique as before. Messed it up there. That's one thing about the iPad I do have a little problem with. It's more the precision of it. Like, I do prefer working on my iPad to my laptop, even though I can work on my laptop a lot faster. There's just something so therapeutic about using the iPad. I don't know if it's because it replicates traditional drawing more, but the precision sometimes can get a little frustrating. So it means you've got to do that little bit extra work to get things how you want it to be. So I'm just going to darken over the lips there. Zoom in and out. I don't tend to get too close. I know when I first started retouching, I would zoom in at pixel level, which isn't great because you get too caught up in the image. It also really hurts your eyes, which you do not want. This is actually quite close for me, but I've got to find some flaws on Sarah somewhere. All these freckles, absolutely lush. Freckles are perhaps my favourite thing ever if I'm doing a beauty retouch. Even though this is more of a portrait than a beauty shot because we didn't even use a makeup artist. Like, freckles are the best. You can really make them pop, stand out. It's heaven. So I'm still working my way around the image. Trying to give myself work because, like I said before, her skin is pretty much perfect. Let's just switch it on and off. It's very subtle, which is a good thing because we don't want to come in and make it look like, we've done so much work on her that she doesn't look like herself anymore. So we've gone from darken, we're now going to lighten. I'm just going to come in. Oh, no, I got the freckle. Unfortunately, there was a freckle on that blemish. I may bring that back. I really like that freckle. Darn it. But yeah, quite heavy-handed at this. I'm still getting used to the brushes, like I said before, just finding finding the strength of the brush that I like to use. Just coming in, let's just lighten up these areas a little bit. I legit wish I had Sarah's eyebrows. And eyelashes. I strangely don't have very long eyelashes. We're just going to come in and clear up these tiny little stray hairs that we just saw there. Just using the lighting. Because the output of this is probably just going to be for social media, like Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, I will not spend as much time on this. Whereas if it was going to print, I would spend a little more time cleaning up more areas, like print for a magazine, or if it was getting printed a lot bigger than that, then I would have spent quite a long time just playing around with this. You really need to assess at the beginning of the image what the output is going to be, so you're not spending too much time on it. Because if it's just going to be for social media, you don't want to spend like 6 hours on an image just for it to go on Facebook. Now, if it's for a client and it's getting printed huge, yeah, you put that time in. So you'll notice I'm onto the hair now, and I'm using a similar, I'm still using the same clone stamp tool. I'm just coming in, just brushing in a couple of the areas that I think would look a bit better, more full. She had quite messy hair on the day, which is awesome. Oops, too much. Oh, I'm really going crazy with this cloning. There we go. It's a bit more natural. Only a little bit. Oh, you can still see where I've done it. That's a tiny bit better. It's only going on social media. Not going to stress too much about it. But I would spend more time on that if it were going to print. I'm literally just zooming around going, what can I actually do on this? So zooming in again, let's just fix a couple of other little areas. I will do more videos on the other healing tools. Because I think it's good to know what your options are when it comes to doing this. You do tend to find your own way and the tools that work for you. Because you may not be interested in high-end retouching at all. Again, that phrase. You may just want to use a standard tool or a patch tool, like anything but this. And if it works for you, it works for you. But I do think it is worthwhile knowing what's available so you can make your own choices from that. Oh man, I'm getting rid of the eyelashes here. One thing I'm not great at when it comes to retouching is drawing in eyelashes. It's one thing I do struggle with. Don't worry, I'm not going to do it in this video. I'm still coming in, trying to clean up these tiny little bits that I'm being really heavy-handed with. But the idea is just to clean up these tiny little areas. Although you're probably not going to see these when it goes on to Instagram. So I've currently got the clone blending mode onto lighten, which is why you can see all these dark areas disappearing. It's like layer masks. You constantly have to be, once you get used to them, you don't. But when you are getting used to them, you constantly have to remind yourself, lighten, darken, black, white. Do I want it there or do I not? It becomes second nature after a certain point. So I could come in and clear these eyes up a little bit, but I quite like seeing all these little veins in the eyes. And when it comes to retouching, I know it's not a huge thing and people tend to soften them down or get rid of them. I like to keep them. Okay, that's dark and I've spotted some little white patches. Oops. Could I have done this with dodge and burn? Yeah. But while I'm in this tool and I'm on this area, why not? I really hope, you can't hear my belly rumbling right now. This lockdown has actually got me like playing a real life game of hungry, hungry hippo. Like, am I hungry? Or am I just being greedy? It's not the worst thing. I'm just looking for excuses to eat chocolate, not gonna lie. Okay, I went in a bit too much there. For zoom out, it's not too noticeable, I guess. Okay, I'm starting to overwork this now. Let's have a little peek-see. Again, very subtle difference. I'm determined to fix this area. Looks a little too flat. It can be fixed in D&B once I get to that part. I'm just being an absolute fanny now. Okay, this is looking good. See you for the next part.